What is up, car addicts? In this video, I'll be talking about this week's Dub Money event week as well as the property and vehicle discounts. This event week is for January 26th through February 1st, 2023. In terms of new content for this week, we finally received a new drip feed car that's technically new, and that is the Issy Rally. The Power Surge was the last drip feed vehicle, again, that was technically new, and that was about a month ago, so it's definitely been a bit of a wait, but it's finally here. The Issy Rally is the 5th drip feed vehicle of DLC, even though it's technically the 3rd new drip feed vehicle, but finally here. In the SUVs class, it does offer HSW upgrades, but do keep in mind that only the Entity MT and the Issy Rally are the only HSW upgradable vehicles in the entire DLC, including drip feed, so keep that in mind. But anyways, the current prize ride for this week is the Vapid Winky. This vehicle is primarily based on the Willys MB mixed with the Ford GPW, and it has a normal price of 1.1 million and a trade price of about 800,000. To get this vehicle for free, you have to place top 1, meaning first place, in a Street Series race for 3 days in a row. In terms of performance, the Winky is in the off-roads class and is actually the slowest vehicle in that class. I'm not kidding, but it does offer great customization and fantastic detail if that's what you're looking for. The styling is on point. I think it's a great vehicle to own. Kind of looks like a museum piece if you customize it the right way. In terms of the test drive vehicles for this week, we have the GTO, the Remus, and the Tailgater as well. And for next gen console users, we have the brand new HSW Issy Rally as the HSW test ride vehicle for this week. So if you want to take it for a quick spin before you buy it, definitely worth doing. Now, in terms of the casino podium vehicle, we have the Pariah. This vehicle is primarily based on the Aston Martin Vanquish Zagato, mixed with the Ferrari 812 Superfast and some other cars as well, and has a normal price of about 1.4 million. In terms of performance, it's in the sports class, and as most of you know, it's one of the fastest cars in the game and still in top 3 for the sports class depending on the track, so definitely worth owning. In terms of the dealership cars for this week, for luxury autos, we have the Vest 8 and the newly added Issy Rally as well. And for Simians, we have the Zentorno, the Schlagen GT, the Vamos, the Deviant, and of course the Impaler as well. Moving on to the discounts, in terms of property discounts, we have 40% off the Arena, as well as 40% off the upgrades and renovations for it as well. Usually they only put 30% off this property when it's on sale, so 40% off this week is a very good deal if you've been wanting the Arena War property. Moving on to vehicle discounts, we have 30% off the Vest 8. This car is of a supercar class and is one of the fastest cars in that class for top speed, and with HSW, it actually has the highest top speed in that class, plus its handling is actually pretty decent. I highly recommend buying this one if you don't own it already. Next up, we have 30% off the Italy GTO. This car is of a sports class and is one of the fastest cars in that class for track performance alongside the Pariah. It basically has supercar performance in the sports class. It's an absolute beast, and it's another car that I highly recommend buying if you don't own it already. Moving along, we have 40% off the Zentorno. So this car used to be the king of the supercar class when it released in 2014, and it remains very competitive in that class up until the Wagner released in 2017. But even till this day, after all these years, the Zentorno is still in top 20 for track performance, which is very impressive. Now obviously it's way off the pace of some of the top cars like the Emirates and Krieger, but for 400,000, I think this is an absolute steal if you're a newer player to GTA Online and just want a good quick supercar to get around. Moving on to the Arena War website, we have 30% off the Arena War upgrades for the Sasquatch, which brings that price down to just under 1.1 million. the Bruiser, which brings that price down to about 1.1 million, the Slam Van, which brings that price down to about 900,000, the Dominator, which brings the price down to just under 800,000, the Impaler, which brings that price down to about 850,000, the Issy Classic, which brings the price down to about 750,000, and lastly, the Death Bike, which brings the price down to just under 900,000. And for those of you wondering, the Death Bike is arguably the best vehicle for most arena events, so if you plan on taking part in those this week, make sure to buy this one. In terms of double money, we have double money NRP on the adversary mode Motor Wars, double money NRP on all the arena war jobs, which is great, and double arena points as well. So for those of you who want to unlock some of these special arena awards a bit quicker, like the Taxi Custom variant for example, this week would definitely be the best time. And lastly, we have double money NRP on taxi work this week, which is still a terrible payout, but a bit more of an incentive for those of you who haven't done it yet. Maybe do a couple fares, but yeah, terrible payout, more a role-playing thing. Moving on to the Prime Gaming bonuses for Prime Gaming members only. So again, same as usual, we have the usual free $125,000 for logging in during the event week period. And if you log in before February 22nd with Twitch Prime linked, you'll be given the Twilight Painted Rabbit Mask. And lastly, this week's RC Bandito time trial is Power Station. This week's normal time trial is Power Station as well. This is the first time I've ever seen that happen, so that's pretty funny when they're like right there next to each other. But anyways, I highly recommend a vehicle with a high top speed or fast bike for this time trial. In terms of the premium race for this week, we have the Supercar Race Congestion Charge. I highly recommend Avi the Vest 8, LM87, Emerus, or Krieger for that race. And if you're on next gen, I highly recommend using the HSW Devest 8 or the HSW Weaponized Ignis. And lastly, for next gen console users, the HSW time trial is Ron Alternates. As always, the HSW Hakuchu Drag will be the best one for these. In terms of my vehicle discount pick of the week, I'm gonna have to go with the Italian GTO, although I was pretty close with the Zentorno, but the GTO, I mean, it's extremely competitive. Usually it's just way overpriced, but at this price I think it's a pretty decent deal on this car, considering it's one of the fastest in the sports class. Plus it's just a good looking car in general with great customization as well. Anyways guys, hope this was helpful. Overall, this event week is actually pretty good. We finally got a new drift feed car, discounts on some great vehicles, and decent double money as well, especially for those of you who like Arena War. Not bad. However, if you're playing on PC, remember that the mod menu exploit corrupting players' accounts is still currently happening, so I would really only recommend playing this week if you're on console. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.